Hey friends, welcome back. Alright, so as promised, I was going to give you guys little stories from my past. Today will be the very first one. The project today is going to be a walnut plant stand for my grandmother. Her birthday's coming up. Alright, so the very first time I went hunting was an absolute disaster. So I decided I'd go turkey hunting. Very first time hunting, I have zero experience, and I'd be going alone, which is already not a good start. Decided to go after work. So after I got off my shift at about 5 p.m., I threw everything in the car really fast and then got out of town. Decided to go to the White River area on the far side of Mount Hood. And I totally forgot that it was Memorial Day weekend. So every spot was already taken before I got there. And I drove and drove and drove for a long time. It was about 1:30 in the morning by the time I actually found a campsite. I decided to pitch my tent real quick and then went to bed with a very early alarm set. So shortly after laying down, I kept hearing all the scurrying and all this noise, and it started moving towards the tent. And then eventually I noticed it was going around the tent. It was like it was running laps. I had no idea what it was. And I was pretty annoyed because it's, like I said, just shy of 2 in the morning, and I'd be getting up in just a couple hours when the sun comes up. So after the thing stops near one of my doors, I shine my light on it, and it's this huge rat. Feeling pretty ticked off, I kick the side of the tent near where the rat is and yell at it, "Go away!" And it does. And I can hear the little guy scurry off into the distance. And annoyed, I lay back down and try to catch some sleep. Well, a minute or two later, there was a little bit of rain that started. No big deal. I got a good tent. But then there was a lot of other noise, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Felt like a crunch here and a crunch there. Wasn't quite sure what was going on. And as I'm listening to this crunch, 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 I can hear the license plate on the back of my car go twang. Now I'm getting nervous. I don't know what's going on, but something's definitely out there. And it goes crunch, crunch, crunch all through the camp area. And then it starts going crunch, crunch, crunch in my direction. I'm terrified. Absolutely petrified. I am terrified because I have no idea what this thing is, what is outside my tent. And I'm starting to get nervous. I'm getting nervous for a lot of reasons. One, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm way outside of cell reception, and nobody knows exactly where I'm at. Two, I'm by myself. And three, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really see, and also can't really find my flashlight. But I did remember to take my guns with me to bed. However, I had the one magazine for my pistol and just the 5 rounds in the shotgun. I didn't take any extra ammo with me, and immediately regretting that. As I'm listening to all this crunching, go thump, 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 here and there, I'm starting to get nervous, and my heart rate goes up, and I'm starting to get scared because it gets louder and closer. And then it starts making its way to the tent. And then around the tent, it goes crunch, crunch, crunch. There's dry needles on the ground. It's a very dry ground. So every little noise stands out. And it goes crunch, 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 all the way up to my tent. And I'm getting real nervous. Quick sidebar, guys. I got a little extra story from this little build. Give that to you first. You know what I never see in YouTube videos? It's the craftsmen hurting themselves. Never see it. Which kind of makes you think that they're doing something real perfect. I think they're just lying to you. Well, I was finishing up the last cut on this tenon, and as the saw came right through, it went whoop, right into my thumb. Took a nice big chunk of skin off and went fairly deep. I don't think I have exactly the right thing to patch this up. We're just going to try a Band-Aid. You know, my, oh, committed to being honest with you guys about these projects, about how things actually go, about when things don't work out right. Band-Aid might not be the fix for this. I don't think it's deep enough for stitches. Just saying, committed to being honest with you guys about things that don't go right. Because you never seem to see that in YouTube videos with all the creative editing. Well, something didn't go right. Cut the bejesus out of myself. Just going to start with a Band-Aid. Oh, good. I can't bend my thumb. Awesome. We'll start with a Band-Aid, see where that goes. So, yeah, I guess enjoy the rest of this video with a guy with an inoperable left hand. So there I am, with my heart moving as fast as it's ever moved before, and I'm locked in fear, doing my best not to move and not to let it know I'm there. It comes up to the tent, and it puts its nose under the rainfly and takes 2 big breaths. It's smelling me, and I am scared, and the level of fear just keeps rising and rising and rising. And then it moves, and it touches my foot through the tent. I jump, and I freak out, and then I freeze. Because at this point in time, I'm convinced this is it. I'm going to die. Whatever this is, it's going to eat me now that it knows I'm here. So with my shotgun in hand, loaded with birdshot, so it's not going to do anything against a large animal, I wait. And after a few seconds, I can hear it. It's just going crunch, 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 off into the distance. It leaves. I'm absolutely perplexed as to why it left, but it did. I decided, screw it, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to sleep. After, of course, my heart rate came down about 1,000%. I finally make it to bed. I did get a few hours. And I wake up the next morning, and I can't see any sign of whatever it was, but I'm pretty sure it was a bear. All right, so that was the suspenseful, terrifying portion of that story. Come back for part number 2, and that will be the funny bit. Wasn't funny at the time, but it's real funny now. All right, friends. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Enjoyed watching this build. It was a fun one to put together.